Okay, welcome back everyone. Okay, so the final session of the day. Obviously we've all heard about mobile, we hear about mobile so much, but how to actually go from theory to practice and become a mobile sportsbook superhero. So we're very happy to have Tom Claes from Panenka 76. Personally, anyone who mentions Panenka in their company name gets on my good books, that's all I can say.
Or sued.
Or what?
Sued.
Or sued, indeed, yeah. Indeed. But anyway, so he's going to tell us all about what it's like to actually make it and become a real productive mobile sportsbook. Over to you.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. So, thanks for having me today here. Let's kick off with the presentation. We have a Classico coming up tonight, and that's at 6 already, so no time to waste. Actually, you're here because you probably have an affiliate or are an affiliate. You're probably into sportsbook, and I hope that you're already on mobile as well. The guy who invented the title was me, actually, and I have now the promise to explain you some things. And I just came from the other presentation on the other side. That guy already explained what you had to do to make $1 million. So let's go into the inspirational part of an affiliate and look what we can do. So mobile sportsbook superhero. That's 3 important words. The first one is the easiest one, mobile. I think that everybody in the room has a smartphone, but I just want to ask the question, is there anyone in the room who doesn't have a smartphone? Don't be afraid if it's true. Everyone has a smartphone? All right, that's cool. Usually there's always one guy that doesn't have a smartphone, and then I have to play stuff like this, actually.
Excuse me? Look, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
That's it, absolutely. You cannot be serious if you don't have a smartphone at this moment. Smartphones, look at the numbers, by 2015, about 83% of the internet usage will go through a mobile phone, so that must be a smartphone. Now, why is that so serious? Because 2015 sounds like in a few months, but today it's already 79%. And that's a huge number. So imagine if you're a sportsbook operator and you have 100 developers working on your product and you have like 5% working on your mobile product. That's a problem for the future because your audience is going through mobile or coming through mobile right now already. If you're an affiliate, then you start thinking, yeah, okay, I have a website and hopefully you already have a responsive website. That would be a good thing. But why should you make an app? And you can Google it. I did it. Why apps? And if you look it up, that's the answer because 86% of the traffic goes through native apps. And that's a surprise. Actually, these numbers come from Flurry, you know, the tracking system for mobile. Maybe they exaggerate a little bit, but still, that's a huge number if you look into numbers of mobile traffic. Compared with what I said before, it's time to go mobile all the way. And sportsbook operators, they will tell you it's their key driver for new revenue in the gambling industry. Obviously, there are a few issues with tracking. You have the traditional click links and then the referral links, and then if you click 3 times, then you have to log in, etc. On mobile, that's an issue because you were probably good in web affiliates. Now you want to do a mobile and they can't track it. And if they can't track it, they can't pay you. But still, that's something that's going to change very fast. We are actually no sportsbook operator. We're not a real affiliate. We're just developers. We're a 6-people company. And we're starting to build bet slips, for example. But okay, word number 2, sportsbook. I guess since you're all here, you're all about sportsbook. And mobile sportsbook is big business. I think that's for sure. If you know what the result of a game was, you've been looking on your phone, you saw that Barcelona has won. You're not going to check again on your computer to see if Barcelona had what the result was. You have it on your mobile device. Some of these companies here in the room, and I'm not sure if there are many operators here in the conference room, they already get 25% till 60% revenue of their sportsbook revenue from mobile. I mean, you know, the Paddy Powers, they have just published 52% of their revenue I think it was general revenue coming through mobile. In some markets, this is even going to 60%. And I know this. I can't say who is doing this, but these are huge numbers. So imagine your business online. If it's 100% online, you're going to lose out for 60%. That could happen in the market. Then the easiest part, superhero. And here I'm going to need your help. So what's a superhero for you? And I want a few words, just a keyword. Could somebody say, a superhero what can he do? So, all right. First answer, and that's the only answer I wanted to know. He can fly. That's what a superhero is. Usually I have to ask it several times, but that's it, flying. If you look up superhero in the dictionary, it's actually in there. It says it's a fictional hero with some superpowers. But the number 2 explanation is what actually hit me. It's not a fictional hero, it's a human, and an exceptional, skilled human. So actually, superheroes are humans, and I will show you some of my favorite superheroes that are human. So this is with sound, just saying. All right, so this was like an inspirational video that I saw, and it like struck me and said, okay, I can build a story around it, because these are all humans and they're all very well trained. They're experts, and the only reason why they are experts is because they did it like 1,000 times. And that's exactly what you're doing as well. If you're new in the business, it's going to take long before you get started. But if you're doing stuff over and over again, you can become like a superhero and still be human. So we need actually super skilled humans. So the old superheroes are done. And the old superheroes could be the experts in how the web used to work. I'm active on the internet since 2000. When I graduated, I straight went to an internet ad agency actually. And I'm still here, but I'm not doing internet stuff anymore, or it should be mobile internet. So those with the experience on the web, that's great. But those young kids that are active 2 years on mobile, those are already dinosaurs, because on mobile, you know, the iPhone, what is it, 7 years ago when it launched, it changed the world, and it's changing businesses as well, also yours. So train a lot, and you can become the, let's say, the new Karate Kid with if you have some colleagues, they can play Mr. Miyagi. But the most important thing is, if you're working on mobile, to focus on something. I heard it before in the other presentation as well. They call it niche. You select a niche, and in that niche, you can become the number 1 or number 2 or number 3, whatever. But don't do what all the rest of the guys are doing. And just to explain, I'm going to give you an example of a case. That case is actually how we started the business. So it's a little bit inspired on what we did, and that with a sports operator. So a gambling operator, and it's Unibet. So actually, this is the graph of our active users. And this started in May 2010, this one. And it ends over here. It's last month. So we're still growing. Sometimes there's a dip. This is, let's say, traffic of all sports apps we have. So in the winter, sometimes there's a dip. Our competitions in various markets stop. So then our traffic goes down as well. Depends. In the summertime, we have peaks because it's the transfer news, and that's also a good one. So actually, we started off with the first app. And it was called the World Cup Predictor Game. Nothing to be pregnant about, but it was an app, and yeah, this is the result. So I'm not sure if you can see it, so I made a little zoom. It's this. Actually, when this happened, you can't believe it, but Bas, my colleague over there, we had a party because this was huge. This was really huge. We made an app, and we had a success. It was amazing. So what happened? We took the jump. We gave up our jobs. And so that was done. That's the first thing of the superhero. Take the jump. Then afterwards, okay, this is a longer period. It's like about a year. A lot of things happened. So we first made some B2B apps, nothing to do with sportsbook, nothing to do with sports even, design companies, the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, all these businesses that were now one by one, let's say, giving to other companies, because we're aiming totally for sportsbook. And the reason why is because, one, we like it, and secondly, it's big business and becoming big business. And most of all, it's fun. So just going back into history, there was, after that tiny success, let's say, a new project incoming. So we had to analyze the situation and see how that new project was going to be built. It was a TV guide. When we were ready, we started working on it. And this was actually the result. It's the Unibet Sports TV guide. That Sports TV guide, this was the launch. Another great success for our company. We were still alive. Just saying, we had no venture capitalists, no fundings, no money at all. Just our saving money, and which was actually a 3,000 euro or something, just to start the company. We launched that application in Sweden. So nothing specific about Sweden. But then, a month later, we did Denmark, Norway, and Finland. So these were all different sources of TV programs. And after this one, we went to Belgium. We're actually from Belgium in the Netherlands, so that was our home market. And we added Italy and Spain just to be a little bit more complete. We tried Portugal, but it was a little bit complicated back then. So if you see the lines, that's like taking off, doing a few markets extra, and some other markets, all with different sources of content. After that, we had, I almost forgot, Greece, UK, and Portugal. Yeah, we tried Portugal. So we did it, we tried it, but not a big success. It's not in there anymore. But then, and this is key for all your business, we worked out some APIs, meaning that all the content we generated or we got from parties in Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, Italy, Spain, we put it in an API, and we gave it back to the sportsbook operator. We said, hey, we've made an app with TV content. Why don't you use that TV content on your website? Or why don't you give it to your agency in Sweden? Or give it to the guys in Greece or whatever? Because they didn't have that structured content. There was a website made. There was two websites, actually. No, for the TV guide, there was one website made. And I think it's Denmark. They're now introducing a widget, actually, that's built on the TV data that we built 4 years ago. So it took a long time before they realized that APIs was the key. But for us, this was a success. It's the speed of execution, the speed of rolling out new technology and apps. Because we can talk about it, and we can talk about it again in the next conference and in 6 months, but we won't have any learnings from that. So if you see these kind of infographics, like how long does it take to build an app, how long does it take to build something, this is actually 18 weeks. That's not bad at all, but our release lines are like, let's say, the sprints and the whole milestone, blah, blah, blah. It's like 3 months. If a project needs more than 3 months to get rolled out, it's not a good project. It's going to demotivate people. You're going to talk a lot. And the only weeks where you're going to work hard, that's actually the last few weeks, because then that's the moment you have to deliver. So those guys who are working here with companies that work with agile, scrum, and sprints, etc. Have you tried running a marathon with 50 sprints? Me neither. So it doesn't work. It's nice. It's a good way to get people on board and have short plannings, but it still doesn't show you where you will end up at the end of the development. Okay, so we released 2 apps. Our client was smiling, and this is as far as a client can smile when they're putting money in your business. And we got another mission. That other mission was actually a very tough one. It's the football live score application. And we have some guys here who sell those data, that data, live score data. And most affiliates will probably have football results and football statistics and live score available, maybe even streaming. But for us, and this is a video from a year ago, 3 years ago. This is how we had to work on it on the live score app. So actually you see those 2 guys, Captain Kirk and Spock, watching the result that we were building. This was the result we built. It's version 1.0 of the Unibet Football Stats Center. Actually, it's a stats center because we couldn't name it Live Score, because there was another company building Live Score that took 9 months. So we built, in the meantime, a stats center. Okay, that's fine, but this was the conclusion of Mr. Spock. It was like, that's nice, a stats center, but there's already so many live score apps out there. So maybe you should rework the case and the project. So we started working on version number 2. So version number 2 was including live score. All of a sudden, you could follow matches on our application. The other company that was working 9 months on the live score app, they were like sent to Hawaii, and we started working on our business. So this was not bad at all, but then you got those rumors of, yeah, but you can't click on the odds and send them to an unregulated market or a regulated market. It's going to cause you problems. So this is 2 years ago, I think, more or less, and regulations were coming up. And also new designs. So what we had to do was redesign again. And this is actually the current application we have in the iOS store. Also on Android, but not that fancy. And this was approved by the client. And they said, okay, this app is really what we wanted. We wish that our real betting app was as cool as your live score app. So it was a small, let's say a big victory for a small company. And what happened was actually that our sports data and odds integration, because these apps or this app has odds integrated on every event, this became our core business, our core competence. Now, I think we released this one 2.5 years ago, and right now, for that one client, Unibet, these are the apps we have rolled out. So it's actually here, it's 9, and we're building number 10 right now. And that's Football Live Score. It's a local version, the Swedish one. It's a Danish one. So the only thing that these two have in common is this part of the Football Live Score, but in Swedish and in Danish. Nothing else. So we just stripped all the other markets. I think there are 13 countries in there, the main leagues in Europe. This one just has Sweden, and this one just has Denmark. That's as simple as that. Some said, like, this is cannibalism to your number 1 app. And what happened when we released the Swedish one, it went to the top 10. Nice result for a live score app that was already out there, but now with a Swedish flag. And we did it again in Denmark. And this one went to the number 1 position. It even came so far that we got an email, or our client got an email, to say, hey, you're using the name Superliga. That's not official. So you can or remove the app or change the title, or we're going to sue you. So that's the best compliment you can have by making an app that's on top of all the other apps. So we made it, we changed the name, and it's called now the DK Top Liga Live Score. That's like the most boring name ever for an application. And you know what happened when the competition started? Same result. Still on top because the SEO had already done its work. All the links were still working. The name has changed, but the product is still a success. So good learning. Sometimes you just have to kick off with something and do the regulations afterwards. If somebody complains, then change it, not before. The TE goes for tennis, and the TV is what we already showed. Maybe an interesting strategy. These are some football clubs, 4 football clubs, and these are the official apps, like in Belgium, because we're originally based there, Standard de Liège, then Midtjylland in Denmark, because of the Danish market, which was a sincere success, and then 2 other small teams, Cercle Brugge and KV Mechelen. But when I say small teams, I mean, it's a small club, it's small budget. And you know football teams, if you have a sponsoring contract with those guys, they pay, $50 million for a player, and they don't have any, 50,000 euros to make an app? They don't have it officially. But the sponsors have. So if you looked at the charts back then, this is like from 2 years ago, then we scored 5 apps of one brand in sportsbook in the iTunes App Store in the top 40. And all different ways to get to the Unibet Pro app. That's where you can really gamble. We actually lead them to the website, but that's what happened. So this app was released. That's the Pro app. We didn't make that one. But the others, that was the Stats app, tennis, TV, and a football club. Right now there are other apps coming up. And the thing is, if you put all these elements together, you have different ways to reach your fans. A lot of people talk about engagement. It's a little bit overhyped. But if this is a nice result, I think. So actually, if you look at these graphs, I think we're already here somewhere. I can tell you that sometimes you just have to reinvent your own business. But it's not that easy. And there's a nice quote like, old ways won't open new doors. if we all copy from what we've seen from the competitors, we're not going to pass the competitor. We need to try something out. And sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it's going to fail. Like we did with the live score. First it was statistics, then it was live score, then we added a new design. It takes time. But look at this one, and this one's going to convince you. Angry Birds, if you've not seen it, it's a nice one. 3 guys starting a company, making 51 games. I think after 51 games, you're an expert. They almost went broke, and then they said, okay, let's try something. Let's try it one more time. And that one more time became Angry Birds. And maybe it's a little bit romantic to hear these stories afterwards, because I'm quite sure that there are other companies that tried 30 games and went broke. But the idea is never give up, even if it doesn't work from the first time. And from us, I could add to that, like, if you have an app, make it a service. Look at what Angry Birds is doing. They're like rolling out angry whatevers. If it's Christmas version or Halloween version or even theme parks and other stuff. They are like multiplying their product and because of a proven concept. And that's one of the things that I could give you as an advice. If you have a proven concept, then you nailed it. And you should create, in development terms, a framework. The framework can be like what we did, local spin-offs. We made the Unibet Stat Center, Live Score Center, and then for like whole Europe. And then we said, okay, do the regional stuff. Do it for Sweden, from Denmark, etc. We created small modules that could be reused, not copied, because it's not that easy. And then we went to new territories. In this case, we launched a tennis application. This tennis application works in the same way, the same structured data, but it's an original one and it scores very well. As a result of, I think, all the apps we released in the last 3 years, our team got nominated by Elle magazine. We all know that they are the #1 in tech news. So I don't know how they found us, but we were in the paper in Elle magazine. So all the girlies like, wow, you're doing really great with your business. So was a nice one for the team, but okay, I would prefer to be in TechCrunch or something. But okay, so this is a story from 2010 till 2014. What happened was we released everything under our company, WebComrades. We were like the allies and the good guys, etc. That's not over, but we're going to keep WebComrades as a company for our non-sports business. And we started with a new business, the niche, which is sportsbook, sports and sportsbook development. The company's named Panenka 76. That's what we're using right now. And because we believe that sports business is here to stay, we're going fully for whatever you guys are doing here, but on the mobile side. Now, our tipping point, and that's an important one, because if you have clients with a good name and they're bringing you projects and they're new projects, it's always difficult to put yourself in the place of the customer. What we did was start back over with Panenka. We said, okay, we know how to make a sportsbook app, but there is a lot more. We saw Forza coming up, like, wow, they're doing a great job. We saw OneFootball with a redesign. We saw some smaller apps. We saw out of the sportsbook other apps coming up with small ideas and small business models, different business models. I originally used to work in the music industry. You know how that went down and how they all complained and blamed Napster. But nowadays there is like Spotify, and I'm again paying for my music to take it everywhere, and I don't mind. I don't buy any CDs anymore, but I pay my Spotify account. So what's happening right now, and that's the tipping point, there is a new breed of businesses, small businesses, big businesses, whatever. And they need something else than just what happened before. So you have a great website, but maybe you should scale it down and say, what's the key element of this website, and make an app of that. Just one feature, one app. And that's what happens right now. So new types of software, new thinking, like the old dinosaurs in development. That's really nice with 10 years of experience. But ask them this, what are you going to do for the next 10 years? If they say, I'm going to do the same thing again, no, then that's not good. So we need apps that can be categorized. And I'm going to show you a few. And some of them you'll know, others I'm quite sure you won't know. So apps that break the rules. Simpler, smaller, less. It sounds like a cliche, but Tinder, you probably know Tinder, huh? It's like the Hot or Not. Hot or Not was also the beginning of a Facebook. But it's a simple, easy app with pictures and I like, I don't like, and I swipe, etc. This one, probably you don't know, maybe you do know, quite famous in design world. It's the Peak calendar. It's not just a standard calendar. It has some nice animations. And we actually made something that looks a little bit like the Peak calendar for sportsbook. A sports calendar, a football calendar, a Premier League one and Primera División one. And now this one, that's the question. Which app is this one? If you know it, please tell me. And I know it's difficult because there's 1.2 million apps in the App Store and on Apple alone, the iTunes Store alone. But if you know this one, you really... Yeah, you know it? Is it related to like sleeping? Almost. It's related to sleeping. Actually, this app is called Peace of Mind. And Peace of Mind is just this app. And what it does is you slide it up and you say, I don't want to be disturbed for 45 minutes. No SMS, no WhatsApp, no Wi-Fi, no nothing at all. And you can tell me now, like, yeah, but I can't do that in the settings. And I go to my settings menu and I put on Do Not Disturb and then I do it back on again. This says just like the next 15 minutes, leave me alone, no messages. It's so simple, so stupid, but it's an awesome app. And it's integrated in another awesome phone. It's the One Plus. Maybe Google it. It's like a phone that compares with the latest Samsung phones, but it's like half the price and it looks awesome. I have some pictures of it later on. So this is called Peace of Mind. I use it, and it's a very simple app, but it works. So conclusion, it's a very creative era for small businesses. And I was talking a few weeks ago with a big sports marketing company, and they told me like, hey, you're making official football team apps. It's really cool. But in our market, which was the Netherlands, they already have apps, man. I'm sorry, you're too late. You can't make the official app anymore, so you're probably going to look for another market where they don't have football apps. And I'm like, so what, they have an official app? You know that fan apps could be even more interesting, because in an official football app, if you don't like what the coach is doing, you can say, hey, this is really bad. I want another player. Give me, or kick out the trainer, or what have we bought this summer? No transfers. So in terms of engagement and fan engagement, even the unofficial apps are better. The official apps will let you know when a transfer has been signed. An unofficial app will say there's a rumor that they're going to buy a star player from a Premier League to your team. So we don't care if it's not an official app. So we work out apps for fans, for affiliates, for clubs, for leagues even. Just for the leagues, we were in touch with the Olympic Committee in Belgium. It's really cool to be there. And then it's so sad to hear that they have no money at all. I mean, this is the Olympics, you know, and they do it all. If you want to make an app for them, it's all for free and all for your logo in the back when they do an interview on TV. But there's still a lot to do for affiliates in sportsbook and fan engagement. So if you look at small businesses, it sounds bad, small, but I actually like small apps. And if you look at what I wrote here, you need robots. We're a small team with 6 people. That means I'm the only non-engineer in the team. The other 5 are engineers. And we need some robots. Robots, I mean, not these guys. These are the old school robots. Not these monkey styles either, the management boys. We don't need them. We don't need these either. We outsource our development on the other side of the sea, and then it's so cheap, it's so cool, but it's not there's no innovation part, it's not creative, and it probably sucks. I'm sorry. These are the robots we're talking about. This is the thing we want. It's the new version of the HAL 9000. It's like the Space Odyssey, but without being afraid that the robot is taking over. You're going to make something, you're going to make it again, and after you made it 3 times, that's what my colleague Bas says. He says then after number 3, I can make you modules, and we can insert it in other apps. And then once you do an update, you update the full platform, the full framework. For us, that meant that we built a sports framework. So there's a lot of CMSs out there and tools that can, how do you call that? I forgot the word in English, but you can roll out your apps to all platforms. Well, that's true. But in Sportsbook, it's different. I mean, it's always with statistics. It's very important that you have live score. You don't want to know about the goal 5 minutes later when you're looking on your app to follow the live score. So that's our niche, and that's our framework. So right now, we don't only do odds integrations, but we also build bid slips. And that's the thing that's probably going to score in the next few months and years. And the only reason why we are doing this is because we're in the game like for 4 years. But how did we come so far? Because we started working on our own ideas. This one is a periodic calendar. I actually designed it, and I'm not even a designer, in one night, because I wanted to challenge one of my colleagues to make not a paper calendar, but make a calendar in the app. So I won, and we later on made the calendar in the app. So this was released on an event and given, and the idea behind this calendar is very simple. It's like, look to the same content, but with different eyes. There will be calendars everywhere with the World Cup, but this is a periodic table. This reached the #1 page on the media website. I created content and it hit. And actually, this is what I found like 3 days ago. It's being sold in a Brazilian kind of eBay for I think it's €9.50 something. So somebody's even making money of it. That's really cool. I don't mind. The World Cup is over. So that's what happens with Google. If you look for a picture, that's the result you get. So the lesson learned is, if you're mixing old concepts with modern technology, there is a lot of great ideas and apps that can roll out. Because we strongly believe, and that's not new, but it's good to remember that somewhere somebody has already found a solution for your problem in a different business. This is the same words, and actually I looked it up, and it's called category stealing. Category stealing is like, how would they solve my problem? Like, how can I be innovative if I have the same content as the other 5 websites here? They're all doing reports on the Premier League. How can I be more specific? Do I need more data, or should I create more data? Or should I, let's say, do something smaller but funnier or whatever? We made an app, Goalstorm. We had high expectations of this app. It's like a combination of Twitter mixed with live score, but you only can see the goals coming in. So if you're following the Premier League or the Primera División, you only get a message when somebody scores, but you get them all. On radio, if you're listening to the radio, they're in the stadium, they're like, okay, Mike, we're going over to Wembley because England has scored a goal. Okay. And then, oh no, we go back to Russia because over there they made the equalizer. That's a little bit the concept. We all liked it. We thought this was the bomb. Actually, it looks nice. It went on some designer blogs. First day, it was app of the week in Germany. All cool, but not a lot of downloads. Now, the good thing with this app was that we built it on new technology. Like, how boring is it if you have to refresh all the time? Like, refresh the page, refresh the page. Second thing was like, okay, you can set the timer. How many times every 30 seconds should the app refresh? Should it be every minute, every 5 minutes, every 30 seconds? And then we said, no, we just show something when something happens. That's also how Facebook works. If Facebook pushes you something, then you see, hey, you've got 3 messages waiting. You don't have to refresh all the time. If you get it open, it comes in and it's there in your waiting list. So yeah, this was another experiment, a minimal Goalstorm calendar. It's only a calendar, and there is actually live score in it. This was made by a new guy that started a few months ago, and it was his first project. It was an experiment, and it went very well in terms of embracing new technology. Was it an instant hit? No, that's not the case. But we're now publishing what we're making in demos. Because one of these demos, one day, could be the killer app for one of for a sponsor or a client. And the experimental stuff, that's why we said, okay, our company needs to be something with risky, experimental. And I hope you all know the Panenka, the original Panenka in 1976. Well, when we decided we wanted to go for the name Panenka, 3 days later, I was on the airplane to Czechia, to Prague, and I've been talking to the original Mr. Antonín Panenka about his story. It was actually really cool. He said that people said that it was risky, it was a genius. Pele said you should be a genius or a madman, so crazy, to do a Panenka, because it's the final penalty of the Euro Cup in '76, and he just kicked the ball slowly into the middle of the goal. You can imagine what happens if he doesn't score. Mr. Panenka told me one thing. He said, I was not 100%, 200% sure that I was going to score the goal. There was no risk. People say it was a risk. I was sure about it because I trained it to perfection. And he did it with the best keeper in Czechia. I don't know his name, but he was playing in the same team. And they played for chocolates and wine after the game, and they did the traditional penalty kickouts or shootouts. I'm sorry. So that's a learning. If you train something to perfection, you can take a risk and you can be original. So actually, we took a risk with the sports, but actually it's not a risk. It's fun. We're making sports apps in football. We really want to do something in cycling, and why not running? I mean, running is already for a few years the new hype. Being fit is the new black. And if there's data, then we can make something. And with that data, we're going over to a small part, which is sports data, the traditional ones. You have the Optas, the Bet Radars, you have the Infostradas, and the other one it's been taken over by Perform. So data is crucial, but for us, it's not the holy grail. I mean, if you have Premier League data, and you have it as well, and you have it as well, and you have it as well. So you all buy the same content, so you need more to do with the data. For us, big data is a big buzzword. This one is really awesome. It's all the balls hit between Federer and Murray. Really like it, but it's actually useless. I mean, you're going to look at it, you're going to share it, and wow, nice, but after that share, that's it. You're not going to act. This is data that's new. There's heat maps with the World Cup. All they talked about was heat maps, and one player gave 25 passes, and the good ones, the bad ones. That's nice. But actually, if you're talking to those data providers, I hope I'm correct, but affiliates are thinking like, okay, we have a smaller business, or we have a website, and we have costs when we need to pay for the data. Like you have to pay for the pictures on your website, from your news agency, you're going to pay for the data. So how can we find the right data supplier? For us, that's a problem because we sometimes have small apps with 1,000 downloads and we need data for it. And we got into discussions with some of them and they said, okay, we're going to give you data for one app. And if you release another one, you have to pay not double, but almost double. And that doesn't make any sense. So data sellers are like, okay, you have a small business, but we want to grow with your business. And just doubling the data or doubling the fee doesn't mean that the business is doubling. So buy advice, and don't take it wrong if you're selling data. Please, data providers, stop selling data based on my shoes or my car or the clients we have or have on our portfolio. Because what you're actually doing is watching how much we are worth and killing the creativity from us. Because if we have to pay a lot up front for data, we can't experiment with that data. One of the good ones is the number of apps using data. I mean, we made some small apps that have almost non-users just as a demo, but it's an app and it's in the store and it's available. So I'd say, please stop acting like car salesmen. I mean, that's not more, you can't act that way anymore. But what can you do? And I hope you can learn from this as well as an affiliate, even as a sports operator and as a data seller. Cherry picking data. Like for Goalstorm, we just wanted the goals. They gave us all data, like, and the goals, and the yellow cards, and the red cards, and the assists, and the rankings, and whatever. Player names, player profiles. We just want the goals and the player in the game. That's it. But we paid for the full amount. And they delivered the full amount because they couldn't split it up. Secondly, pay-per-volume models. If we have a lot of clients, we're going to consume a lot. And if you consume a lot, I think you're prepared to pay more. That's what I said with category stealing. How does it work when you consume a lot of beers in a bar? I mean, you pay more. If you don't consume, you pay less. And then, the final one, auto cashier and payments. One of there are 3 jobs that are going to disappear in the next 10 years, and one of them is being a cashier. I mean, how many people haven't bought watches or tech stuff or clothes or shoes online? They didn't go to the store and say, "Hi, man, I want some shoes. What can you recommend?" It's all happening automatically. If we want data, we want the same thing. Log in, put our credit card, and okay, give me what I want. And if I don't pay, you just block my access. I can live with it because it's the normal way of things right now in other industries. So cherry-picking data is something that needs to happen. Pay per volume. This is how what is it, parse? Yeah, this is how parse works. If you have a lot of calls to a server, then they charge you more. And finally, how would you get it? Should we pack it, or are you going to eat it here? So what's the technology you're working on? Is it a JSON, an XML, or a widget, or do you want some push mechanisms? And finally, PayPal, Stripe, Ideal, whatever payment solution you're using. This is how other businesses work, and this is how the sportsbook business and data should be sold as well. Small apps, automated business. I don't need to talk to anyone. If I'm a small business, I just want some goals, and that's fine. Big apps, I want some very specific stuff. Let's talk to the guy representing the company, and we can make a creative deal. That's how you use your people better than just selling the same thing over and over again. There is one big, huge sports data company that I've been mailing several times, and they always answer me with the same template email for everyone, and the same fees, and the same blah, blah, blah. I'm really sorry. Then they asked me, like, so how are we going to continue? And I said, if we have to pay for every small app that we want data in, we're never going to be in business. Never. Because it doesn't work like that. We have thousands users over there. We have 10,000 over there. 100,000 over there. That's in total. You counted? I didn't. So we want to pay for those users. And they don't grasp it. They say, like, that's 3 apps. That's 3 times the same thing. Yeah, sorry. These businesses don't work like that. And these businesses are making a lot of money. So, what's the risk of staying in your old business model? It's the intimate data that will take over. The intimate data, what is it? Intimate data, anyone? If you Google it, you'll see some results. But anyone? How many people of you are running? Runners? 1, 2, 3? Only 3? 4? Okay, so several people. Who's running with a watch? Watch, counting, put it in on Strava or on your Garmin, something? Well, that's a form of intimate data. It's data coming from your wearables. And this is like the end of the presentation, more or less. Wearables, I'm not going to use it as a buzzword, but I ran the marathon last week, and if you noticed well in the video in the beginning when we were working, I was like 30 kilos more, and I used my Garmin. My Garmin actually put me to the finish line, because otherwise I'd probably stopped at 30K or something. But those are only the first versions of the wearables. These are the next generation. It's the Google Glass and the iWatch. There's even socks to measure your feet. And if you run a marathon, you sometimes need socks that are like treating your feet very well. There's the Fitbit. I gave one to my wife, and actually she's a Latina. She can be lazy sometimes, but thanks to the Fitbit, she's motivated, and every night she's showing me like the 4 or 5 dots, and that means that she completed the number of steps she had to take. So imagine now with this technology how data could look like. And if you're an affiliate right now and you're showing Premier League data and sports data and the sports news and reports, just like anyone else, why don't you start a website with one of these? Like you buy something with a GoPro or a Google Glass or whatever, put it on somewhere and sell that kind of content. Because this looks like video games, but that's what we're heading to. We're gonna have the Tour de France with data. We're gonna have runners with their glass that say, hey, you ran last week a little bit further away, like your Garmin says, but with images. How cool is it if you can follow the Formula 1 from the helmet? That already exists. But what with statistics? And the final slide is like, how awesome would it be if we could see Messi score tonight from his eyes in real time? Because that's where we're heading at. Following an action in real time. I think if Messi wore glasses tonight and he scores, it would be awesome to see that straight away from his view. So, thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks very much, Tom. That was a very excellent presentation. Are there any questions for Tom?
Actually, if you come up or give me your business card later on, I'll send you the presentation so you can check it, because I know it's at 130 slides almost, so a lot to grasp in one view.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for your presentation. And the question is, what would you suggest to go first, Apple or Android-based apps for a sportsbook?
Yeah, actually, that's if it's sportsbook, you know it's going to be tough to add some odds due to the regulations. I can't say, but we're doing it. We're not like sportsbook. We're like releasing those apps like an affiliate on our account, and Google looks over it. So we're doing it. But on iOS, you can do it. If you're an operator, you have to follow the rules. But would you go for iOS or Android? Depends on your market. I don't know which market you're in right now.
CIS countries.
That depends. I mean, I can't give you a straight answer, go for iOS or Android. We actually develop on iOS first and then roll out to Android. What I can tell you is don't do both in the same time. If you find a bug in your system, you have to fix it twice. Do one platform first. If that's checked and that works well, do the other one. But from experience, if you have a website or a mobile website already, check in your Google Analytics what kind of visitors you already have. Because I can't say that iOS is doing better. They have like the better apps, but Google has the bigger market. And if you're going to South America, go Android. If you're Europe, you really have to look into the market specific. I could say that in Spain it's more like Android, and if it's the Nordics, you could go for iOS first. But still, that depends. But you can check it with statistics and analytics tools.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I was going to ask you, Tom, I mean, when you say you put out odds, you're doing that on behalf of a sportsbook, or you're doing that yourself as the app developer?
We are app developers, and we're hired by a sportsbook company to release the apps, but we release them in our account, so not on the operator's account. Right. Because what happens when there's a legislation check, they check on the Ladbrokes and the 888s and the Paddy Powers, etc., and in Google, say, okay, all these apps, block it. Suspend the accounts, and it's done. And then they start negotiating, etc. They forget about developers. We're not an ad agency, but we try to be creative as well, and I think we're succeeding in that. But they just look over it and they say, that's something else. So
and on the smartphones, I mean, how do you get in terms of the app stores of Google Play? How do you get the traffic, the visibility?
In the app store itself, to the app store itself. Yeah. Well, actually, to get people to download the app, that's not a simple question. Actually, 4 years ago, we launched an app, and there was a little thing. If you would have that today, we would all be sad and disappointed. How you do that? That's part of your marketing mix. I mean, some of those companies are promoting apps as we have an app, and if you have an app. Think of Uber. Uber is like, I went to a presentation of Uber. Uber is only on mobile. You don't go to your computer. So they have their branding on mobile, but they also have a website that nobody uses. TripAdvisor and stuff is being used on mobile. It must be part of your marketing mix.
Yeah, I mean, Uber is backed by Google and Goldman Sachs as well, which helps.
No, absolutely. But still, I think here they're not allowed. And
and they've had issues in France and Germany.
Yeah, here as well, in Belgium as well. But we all know Uber, and we all think it. I think that's an unstoppable business model, but it's going up, and I'm sure it's going down again, because sometimes you need like investors to build your product. Yeah. Actually this was normally a session split between mobile and social media, but they gave it all to mobile. Just one thing, if you remember, and now we remember Foursquare, back in the days there was Gowalla, I think. Gowalla? Was it that? Gowalla? Yeah. That was the number one, and then Foursquare was like number two, and then Foursquare took over, and Gowalla, with its millions of users, out of business. It's done. It doesn't exist anymore. So the danger of being in something specific and scoring all the way is that you forget about looking at what else happens. So promoting an app is one thing, promoting a solution is even better. And how you do that, it depends on the
When you're at the top, there's only one direction, isn't there?
I'm sorry?
When you're at the top, you can only go down.
Yeah, that's tough, yeah. We're currently going up. Sometimes we go down or like panicking, like, oh shit, we have to invent something that's new. Because we started working on something that worked, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, users are not grasping it anymore. Find something else, and that needs to happen all the time.
Are there any other questions for Tom? No? Okay. All right, well, that wraps it up for day 2 of BAC. Thank you very much, and thank you, Tom, for a great presentation.